Hey everyone, Derek here with a quick news update on Super Nintendo World and specifically what went into the creation of the Mario Kart ride that's planned for its opening. Now this comes via OrlandoParkstop.com and specifically the blog of software engineer Andy BR, who spoke on his personal website about the development of the Mario Kart ride at Super Nintendo World. He has previously developed apps and interactive experiences with Universal Creative, and they built a motion base at Universal facilities that would be used for ride design, and one of the first things they had to do was test simulations of the attraction for fine-tuning. Now, according to his blog, it started with a problem. He says, in early 2018, the Mario Kart attraction design team for Super Nintendo World had a problem. There were hundreds of people working on different facets of the attraction at an off-site test facility, but safety limitations often prevented test vehicles from running full laps of the track. This meant that our game designers often had to wait minutes or even hours between laps in a test vehicle, as there were many other construction and maintenance tasks that had to take place in the same space at the same time. The designers needed a faster way to test, or game design was going to fall behind. An idea was born. What if the game designers could playtest in a simulation instead of using the physical test track? Design iteration time could improve dramatically. Our R&D team was eager to help. And so this led to design tooling. The goal of the game design simulation was to create a version of Mario Kart which was configurable as thoroughly and quickly as possible, achieving maximum design iteration speed. The idea was that a game designer could ride the simulation on the motion base, pause the experience at any time, verbally request a change to us, and we could make the change immediately for review. Our first game design scenario was around the spawn points of items on the track. How many items should there be, and where on the track should they be placed? We needed to be able to reconfigure the entire map in seconds, not minutes, so manually moving game objects around the map was too slow. One of our developers came up with the idea to load configuration data from an Excel sheet, which not only meant that we could quickly copy and paste rows to generate new maps, but also allowed the attraction designers to directly edit configuration files without needing to open Unity. We implemented the idea, and shortly afterward, Universal invited Shigeru Miyamoto and the Nintendo executive team to take the simulation for a ride. Reducing iteration time was key to the success of this meeting. Now here's what's interesting about this blog, as there's another section talking about the Nintendo meeting, but it's not actually there. However, it's still being quoted by OrlandoParkstop.com, so it's very likely that he initially wrote this out, and when it got some traction, he decided to delete it. So it's possible he may have shared more than he wanted to. But let's talk about that Nintendo meeting because, well, it is rather interesting. So according to him, the Nintendo executive team had a great time writing different test maps, and after a while they asked an insightful question that we weren't prepared for. Could we manipulate the routes of other racers in a similar way to how our tool handled interactables? My heart sunk for a beat. Racers had animation curves in other state that our system wasn't designed to handle, but we wouldn't let that stop us. Our mission was to implement the racer manipulation feature within 18 hours in time for a meeting the next day. Game on. We needed a system for puppeteering racers that was achievable within one day, and after 15 minutes of collaborative thinking, I proposed a solution that the team would choose to implement. I was inspired by the number pad of my keyboard. Imagine a keyboard number pad overlaid on a top-down view of a racetrack. The player card is always located at the 5 key and moves in a forward direction of travel toward the 8 key. So in this coordinate space, 4 represents a position to the left of the player cart, 6 to the right, 2 behind, and so forth. In my design, if a simulation operator pressed the 4 key, the operator's selected racer would lerp to a position to the left of the player over a configurable amount of time. Pressing the 6th key would move the racer to the right of the player, and so forth. In this way, we created a simple set of keyboard commands for an animation manipulation system that we could all remember and operate with low cognitive load. We finished the implementation in 6 hours and were able to proceed with our gameplay testing. It's great that it worked out, but leave it to Nintendo to find a way to make things a little bit harder on these people. But hopefully this new idea was worth the extra time, and it seemed to be something that these guys really got inspired by. So pretty cool all around how they figured this stuff out. Now, as Orlando Parkstop notes, it's not clear if these simulations were to help decide where to build in physical animatronic racers that will drive up beside riders, or to test how augmented reality could allow computer-generated racers to appear to be racing beside you. But it is interesting to see just how much had to come together to make one ride work and why it's taken so long to get it all created. Basically, they not only had to design the track, but they had to design the augmented reality that's going to be used with it and make it all work while still having every aspect of this come together and work at the same time. It's kind of an admirable feat of organization and planning. So I'm still really excited to see what comes of Super Nintendo World, what the attraction's actually like. Don't know when it's actually going to open, as it's obviously been delayed, but it's all looking very promising, and of course we'll be there to cover it every step of the way. But what do you think of this insight into the design of Super Mario Kart? Let us know in the comments, and of course be sure to subscribe to Game Explained for more on Super Nintendo World and other things gaming as well. Until next time, bye!